to the capital of Sacramento from the East Bay that I represent. I represent the 18th Assembly District, which is the great cities of Oakland and Alameda and San Leandro. It's about an hour and 50 minutes each way, and I try to make it productive on the way. I do some work, I do some reading, I send some emails and texts, and I do a lot of phone calls with my staff and with others, and that's how I get back and forth. But I like to be in the district as much as I can with my constituents, with the people I represent. All right, so we'll get off the train here and we'll head over to the Capitol. Today is a day we're on the Assembly floor. We're doing business as a California State Assembly, as a body. So we start in a little over half an hour.
My mom's an immigrant from the Philippines. She's from Dumaguete. She went to UP Diliman, came here on an ecumenical scholarship for graduate school, and there she met my father. And they were very involved in activism, civil rights activists and social justice activists. After they graduated, they went back to the Philippines to serve as missionaries. Back in the Philippines, my sister was born there in 1969. I was born there in 1971 at St. Luke's Hospital in Quezon City. My mom was very involved with the resistance and activism against the rise to power of Ferdinand Marcos. And as he rose to power, there was a little more turmoil and potential danger. And so we came back to California. And then I went back again between college and law school. I worked at a law firm called CSIP Salazar Hernandez and Gatmaitan, and I played with the Filipino soccer national team when I was there. And since I was elected in 2012, I've gone back almost every year.
All right, this is the office. This is where I never sit because I'm always running around. This is my photo that I have in my office that we may have told you about. It's the Welcome to America photo. It's a hotel lobby in Stockton in the 1920s, and this was a sign that was captured. Positively no Filipinos allowed. And so I keep it there to remind me of where we've been and where we still need to go. In many ways, maybe times didn't change fast enough for the Filipino-Americans. I'm the first Filipino-American state legislator in the history of California, and I was elected in 2012. So 6 years ago, or yeah, a little over 5. And Filipinos are the largest Asian American group in the state of California, the fastest growing, 4% of the population. And we should have had someone, multiple people. I think that Filipino-American community is maybe in a different place with respect to political empowerment, political activism here in the United States. Certainly the work that has been done in the Philippines has been tremendous with the People's Power Revolution in 1986 and overthrowing abusive dictatorship with Ferdinand Marcos, and my mom was involved in that. But here, there's been lower levels of engagement than I'd like with the Filipino-American community. There may not be a trust in government for those who spent time in the Philippines and experienced it firsthand and are immigrants here. Sometimes immigrants and who are trying to rebuild their lives and create a better future for their children, just keep their heads down and just work and work and work, maybe multiple jobs. I think we need to change if we want to have a voice in a government. We want our policies to reflect the needs of want to address the needs of our community.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. As chair of the Asian Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus, I rise in support of H.R. 73, and I thank the author for bringing it forward. To this day, Rosa Parks' legacy serves as an enduring symbol of love and of justice.
There is so much that is Filipino about Rob. So I've gotten to experience Filipino culture, often through his experience. Obviously, his mother, who came from the Philippines, is a big part of that. He just loves to be able to, be on a stage, either presenting or being connected to people. That's a big piece of who he is. He's got a lot of cultural pride. I think the advocacy part of the Filipino community is very important. Kind of fighting for the rights of Filipinos has been very important to him. And I think that he's really been able to take some really, the hidden stories of Filipinos, of the Filipino-Americans in particular, and bring them to light throughout the state, which has been really powerful.
Do you have anywhere else you need to go right now?
No, I think I'm good.
So do you want to head to the
Grab food or
garage?
something.
I've worked with the Assembly member for a little over 2.5 years. Special for me, for my family, especially for my mom, someone who was born in Leyte and who came to California for college. It's awesome. It really is. Growing up in a small town up north in California, I never thought I'd see something like this. And then to be a part of it, it's just really special and exciting to go home and talk to my mom about it and her friends in the Filipino community about working for the first Fil-Am legislator in California's history. It's truly remarkable, and it's really exciting. We're in a really exciting time in California.
It's wrong that in this body, the people's house, the legislature that's supposed to represent the beautiful, full breadth of diversity of the state of California, that we haven't had a Filipino-American, even though we're the largest Asian American group, the fastest growing. We need to change that, and we're going to do it this year. And we did. It's a big step. You know, people don't believe, it's just human nature that something can happen until it happens. And we followed that up by working on AB 123 right away. As the first Filipino-American state legislator, I wanted to support a policy that really helped tell our story. I was a history major, as I mentioned, in college, and what I focused on were the silences in history, the gaps in history, and never saw the story of Lariat Leong or the Delano Grape Strike of 1965, that those contributions of Filipino-Americans to building California, to the California farm labor movement, were enormous and immense and game changers in the arc of history in California and in the United States. And right at the very forefront were Filipino-Americans leading.
Sort of talk about the different components that can create a just cause.
Filipino Advocates for Justice Po. We've been here since 1973 to serve the most vulnerable of Filipinos in our community. That's the youth, low-wage workers, and newly arrived immigrants. Of course, immigration is a very big issue for Filipinos. Here in the East Bay, our Filipino community is over 60% foreign-born, meaning probably born in the Philippines or elsewhere.
I think there's less on.
And with the recent rise of anti-immigrant politics that have been really consuming the U.S. since 2016, a lot of our immigrant communities, working families, feel like they need to retreat to the shadows because of the threats, threats of ICE raids, the threats of ending legal family immigration. It's very important for our young people to see Filipinos and other leaders of color, because once they see people who look like them doing these important jobs, they feel that they can do that as well and more.
To me, one of the common threads in both the Filipino people and the Filipino-American people in the Philippines and in the United States is this ongoing, unquenchable thirst for creating justice and for fighting for what's right. Whether it be, fighting against the Spanish colonization or fighting during World War II against the Japanese occupation or the United Farm Workers movement here in California, they all say the same thing, that the people will rise up and seek justice and fairness and opportunity for all people. My wife is Puerto Rican. I identify as Filipino. My mom's Filipino. My dad is Scotch, Dutch, Irish. Our kids are multiracial, and so we want them to understand all of the roots of their heritage. And so spending time in Puerto Rico has been really important to both my wife Mia and I, and we've taken the kids there. Being in touch with the Philippines has been important to us. My oldest daughter was able to go with me to Tacloban disaster relief effort. Some of us are multiracial, some of us are biracial, but all of us with Filipino-American heritage, it's really important to connect to the Philippines. I've learned and grown in so many different ways. It's helped me understand my mother more and where she came from and what she struggled with and what she persevered and what she overcame. It was beautiful. It was wonderful to see it.